Join us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Make it plain as we're streaming, and also on Instagram, Minister with two T's. Joining us now to talk about the Indigenous Peoples March coming up is Tara Houska. Well, first of all, Tara, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
You are.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Just fine. Welcome to Make It Plain.
Thank you. It's nice to
Um,
be here.
Wonderful. You are a tribal attorney, correct?
I am.
And also former advisor on Native American affairs to Bernie Sanders. Tell us about your tribe. For which tribe are you an attorney? Is there one in particular you're an attorney for?
No, a tribal attorney is. I represented. I used to live in Washington D.C. and represented tribes from all over the country.
All over the country. Okay.
It just means I specialize in federal Indian law.
Okay. Very very good. Um, but your nation is Anishinaabe. Is that right? Am I saying that right?
That is, you are Anishinaabe people. I'm from Couchiching First Nation, so I'm actually from the other side of the. But I was born and raised here in northern Minnesota.
Okay. Very good. You were involved in the Dakota Access Pipeline movement too, weren't you?
Yeah, as part of my work with environmental injustice and land defense, I spent 6 months out in North Dakota fighting the Dakota Access Pipeline.
All right. So where is that now? Is there any new news on that, or is that still going forward?
The Dakota Access Pipeline was actually unfortunately put underneath the river last year, and they gave us a deadline of February and kind of bulldozed the camps, and it was a very, very sad time. It was a very difficult time, and it was very, very cold. And it's had multiple leaks since its construction, including actually when it was originally going into the ground. They had a small leak right then. It has continued in terms of the lawsuit. There was a lawsuit that was in place that has continued to say that there are multiple discrepancies and failures within the permitting process that did not properly address cultural resources and tribal interests, and the divestment movement of figuring out the financiers behind the industry has continued in a large scale. I've personally traveled and met with bankers and financiers and insurers from all over the world. And it's been an incredibly successful movement with, I think right now, at just the last 2 years, we're at over $8 billion pulled out of the industry.
That's good to know. That is definitely good news. Just a little bit more about you. I'm intrigued by this. You're also a part of something called Not Your Mascot, right?
I am.
Tell us about that if you would.
Um,
My son did a paper in school the other day about the difference between the Fighting Irish logo and the Redskins logo.
yeah. I mean, those are some pretty significant differences, right? It's a Irish school versus a team that is not native based.
Right.
Um, it is someone that chose to represent their culture in a certain way, an Irish Catholic school versus a caricature of Native people. So I personally moved to Washington D.C. Back in 2013, and moved during football season. I had interned there before, but I'd never been there during the football season, and kind of saw firsthand just how prolific and all encompassing that logo is everywhere, and that name, which is it's a racial slur. So myself and some other Native folks from around the country kind of got together on social media, and we ended up forming this organization. And organizing rallies against the football team. I was part of a group of folks out here in Minnesota who organized the largest rally ever against the Washington football team to the tune of
Great.
4,000 Native people.
That's right.
Yeah, it's just something that you go to a place like DC, and in my case, I was a tribal attorney representing tribes all over the country, realizing just how little most people know about us on Capitol Hill, and then seeing this imagery of us and recognizing that people really did think that we were these romanticized
Mm-hmm.
extinct people
Mm-hmm.
and that we're savage. And it translates into very real actions that harm our people when you're not viewed as actual people.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a big difference. Not to mention the Fighting Irish mascot is actually a leprechaun, and I know some people claim to have seen leprechauns, Tara, but I don't think they're really real. Uh, Native Americans are real, and isn't redskin. I mean, that is particularly offensive because at one time there was a reward or an incentive to deliver the skins of native people during, the height of settler colonialism, correct?
Yeah, it actually it refers to a bounty for Native American kills.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
a redskin was the scalp or a part of a human being that was brought to these folks that would pay out bounties for Native people because bringing an entire person is in cumbersome. So it has this really really dark history
Right.
of what a redskin is. And I mean, I ask people this all the time, that say that it's not offensive, and they cite this study called the Goddard study and try to say, redskin was a term we used for each other, and there are people that call each other, refer to us by our red skin. But in all actuality, I mean, I question whether they would go onto a reservation and call someone a redskin, walk up to a bunch of native people and say, hey, what up, redskins? I mean, that would not happen. It's an offensive word, period, and people know it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Also, um, tomorrow or day after tomorrow is Thanksgiving. This Thursday, that's what I prefer to call. I've been calling that for years, making people mad for years saying that. Um, I think we have an idea of what this day means to Native American people in general. But in your own words, Tara Houska with us, folks. In your own words, um, what about this day, this holiday, and how it impacts you and those close to you?
There's a couple different things that come to mind when I think of this holiday. It's one, the rosy picture that we are taught as children about pilgrims and Indians sitting down to a meal together, and how it was like this kind of really amazing, kind, fun time. When in actuality, I mean, what was happening was the genocide of indigenous people. And there was, moments of, yes, we welcome you in as fellow human beings, but the response to that was, really brutal. It was, massacres and destruction of people for
Mm-hmm.
theft of land and theft of resources. And I think particularly this year really means a lot in terms of the Mashpee Wampanoag people who just had their land taken out of trust. The Mashpee Wampanoag people are those people that are, they were the greeters of the so-called pilgrims. They're not pilgrims; they're colonizers. I think that's a really rosy term to use for people that are they came to another place to take it, and assert privilege and ownership over it. So I think it's a misconception that is perpetuated today, and there's going to be all kinds of little kids I know that are going to be in school dressing up as indigenous people and making these fake little headdresses and perpetuating these untruths of Native people. And I think it doesn't benefit anyone when the truth is not spoken and not understood. And these myths are allowed to continue because it causes real harm today. We're seeing these things play out in real time today. We're seeing, not only with indigenous people, but with many people who are still perpetuated as, whether it's stereotypes of, immigrants, whether it's stereotypes of black folks, whether it's stereotypes of, any other group, those untruths do us all harm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so Thanksgiving to me is, it's a holiday that, yes, spend time with your family, be with your family, you have a day to do it. But we should be all talking about what actually happened and where we're actually at with Native people and recognizing that Native people are still here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're also getting ready for something big on January 18th, aren't we?
Yeah, this Indigenous Peoples March is, I think, a moment that is going to be very powerful and will bring together all kinds of different voices, and solidarity among different peoples, to remind not only the Donald Trumps of the world that we're still here, but to, I think, more so remind each other. It's as we see like this shifting partisanship that's become so extreme, and we see the vile things that are falling out of the president of the United States' mouth. I think it's really important for all of us to, yes, come together. And we've got women's marches and Black Lives Matter and, indigenous resistance to environmental extraction, and in this Indigenous Peoples March. We have to take it upon ourselves and build our own communities to make real change, because it's not coming from the top. And it's certainly not coming even from our Congress, which is seeing major changes, but it's going to take time for that actually to take hold.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Indigenous Peoples March, folks. January 18th. This is the day before the Women's March. And so we invite you all to support this struggle and support this movement. It's very, very important. And to think more carefully on this Thanksgiving holiday about the impact it's had on Native American people, indigenous people, and the myths that have been told. Your Twitter handle now, is that a name for you as well?
It is. That's my native name. It's Jabawekwe.
Jabawekwe. I like that. What does that mean?
It kind of means the woman whose voice pierces with direction. And it's kind of hard to translate into English, actually. So
a woman whose voice pierces
with direction and purpose.
Okay. Jabawekwe. I like that. Well, Jabawekwe, it's a pleasure to meet you and a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, and thank you for giving voice to these issues and to hosting Native folks on your show. This is great, and I really hope to see a large turnout for in the Indigenous Peoples March from all nations. Because the trials and tribulations and issues of one people, the injustice of one people, affects all of us. It's not just our problem; it's everyone's problem when any group experiences injustice.
No, absolutely right, and I'm happy to do it. If we don't talk again before January 18th, I look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be wonderful. And I would pitch one last thing before
Please.
we end this, which is kind of why I'm personally going out to the Indigenous Peoples March. I'm actually calling you right now from a resistance camp in northern Minnesota.
Okay.
It is a balmy 8 degrees outside.
Bless
we
your
are
heart.
living about 200 yards off of a proposed tar sands line called Line 3. It would be one of the largest tar sands lines in North America, coming from the Alberta tar sands down through to the Great Lakes, where Anishinaabe people live around and have lived for thousands of years. And so we are fighting another pipeline and another project and another threat to our collective futures. And so I'll be bringing that camp out with me in January.
So what's the timeline on that pipeline?
So they have gotten, unlike Keystone and unlike Kinder Morgan, which you may have heard of, those are other large tar sands lines they try to push through. They have gotten full approval for this. We are looking at a construction start time of the next month. It is a situation where this pipeline in particular, because Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes, as many people might know that, and I hope if you didn't, now you do. But it goes through the headwaters of the Mississippi River to the shore of Lake Superior, and so overall we're looking at a fifth of the world's fresh water that is put at risk by this pipeline project. So this is tar sands. Tar sands are the dirtiest fossil fuel in the world.
Yeah.
When a leak happens, it sinks. It doesn't float. It is something that I hope all of us can collectively stand together and recognize this is our futures. It is not just our fight, it's everyone's fight. And yes, this is my sacred territory and this is my people's history. And there are many sacred places along this proposed route, untouched wetlands, untouched wild rice beds. But this is an issue that should concern us all.
Are you calling me from your cell phone number?
I sure am.
Look, I'm texting you now my personal cell and my email. I want you to keep me posted on that issue because anything we can do to help prevent that in the next 30 days, we want to help to do, okay?
That would be amazing. Please visit stopline3, the number 3.org.
Southline3.org.
Yeah, and you can learn more about the site and where we're at.
Okay, southline3.org. Okay, I just text you, so you should have it. Southline3, the number 3.
The number 3.
I'm looking it up right now. Okay, very good. All right, well, thank you. Keep us posted about that, Tara, okay?
I will. Thank you so much for the time.
Okay, God bless you. You all be safe out there. Be strong. I know you will.
Thank you.
All right, bless you. Take care now. All right, folks, let's do this. Let's do a quick rapid round from those on hold. We got about, 5 minutes left or less? I know the time police over there is watching me. You saw he ain't read. I asked him something else. He don't respond that quick. I said, how much time? Yeah. He was all on the mic for that. I'm just messing with it. Mike's in California. Mike, God bless you. Good morning. Get woke. Get ready for impeachment. Real quick for me, Mike. Hit and quit it.
Sure, Mark. I just think that what I was going to comment on, I'm going to change that and just basically say that for the sake of the time, that Nancy Pelosi, in reference to that, I think that's much more important than talking about Monica Lewinsky. So I'm just going to hang up and then pick it up tomorrow and call you back.
Well, now, wait a minute. But see, let me tell you this. Let me tell you how y'all abuse me. I got complaints because they said I was talking, folk and playing on Twitter. I talked about Nancy Pelosi too much last week. Now you telling me we need to be talking about Nancy Pelosi instead of Monica Lewinsky. So what y'all want me to do? Y'all must want to kill me because I don't know what talk.
No,
every time I talk about something, y'all get mad about it.
No, Mark, that wasn't what I
know.
was
I'm just messing with you, but I'm just saying. You see what I'm dealing with?
Right.
You're right.
Yeah,
I think it's important, but some folk lit me up like, oh, how about that every day? So the only reason I'm talking about Monica is because this new documentary is out, and I'm glad we did because we just did the math. Melania was the same age, dealing with Trump. So why is that okay? Why are we still focused on the Clintons? And it also ties into the news story today about Ivanka using her emails.
That's right.
It's all a doggone double standard. It's crazy, and we got to cut it out. Thank you, man. Enjoy your day. Ben's in Ohio. Ben, God bless you. Good morning. Get woke. Get ready for impeachment. Go right ahead.
Good morning, Mark. How are you this morning?
Fine. How you, man? Real quick. Hit and quit it, please.
Okay. I'm a Native American, so I appreciate the guest you just had on.
Okay.
Frank, I resent being called a nobody because I call into the show all the time, and I can't ever get through. And I want to know his secret. What's your secret, Frank? Come on, share.
We know some of these people had them tricky phone apps because they can call in all these shows, and they're even able to call multiple times from different numbers. Hello.
Yeah. And Pelosi is highly qualified. I'm fine if Democrats can find somebody better.
Now, wait a minute. Marsha Fudge is from your state.
Okay. Well, I mean, if she's more qualified, let's get her in. If not, why can't we have a training program? Why can't we have somebody who's just in the wings being trained to be the next one up? And that might end up being the solution. And diversity is our strength in the Democratic Party, Mark. And I just want to emphasize that we can only be defeated from within.
Yeah, we need to stop fighting with each other.
Absolutely. And it's all right. It's like a sports team, Mark. I'm going to pass you the ball if you're open because I want to win in the game. I might not like you one bit off the court. I'm going to give you that ball if you're open for a layup, and it means us winning the game. So, that's how I look at the Democratic Party. Thanks, Mark.
All right, man. You first time caller?
Have a good holiday.
You first time caller?
No. Ben from Ohio.
Okay, bet. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, you saying you could never get through. I didn't know. Thank you so much. Ken's also in Ohio. Got a lot of calls from Ohio. Ken, God bless you. Good morning. Get ready for impeachment.
Kamala Harris and Beto O'Rourke for president 2020.
Okay.
The commander-in-chief should be held to the same standard and ethics of all military personnel.
Even though he's a civilian?
And even though he's a civilian, when he's got the job, he's commander-in-chief. That's his job.
You're in Ohio. Who do you like for speaker, Marsha Fudge or Nancy Pelosi?
This is no time to put training wheels on the Speaker of the House.
Okay.
We need somebody that knows how to do the job and that will bring somebody along and teach them the future.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
You're a first-time caller, Ken. You, like all of our first-time callers, in the words of Barry White, are our first, our last, our everything. The answer to all our dreams, our sun, our moon, our shining star. Some kind of wonderful, Ken. You and all of our first-time callers are. I wish I had more time, man. Call me back sometime. Don't make your first call your last, okay?
Bye.
All right. Wesley's in North Carolina. You got the last word, Wesley. Real quick for me. Hit it and quit it. God bless you.
Hey, Mark, God bless you. So Ken just took everything I was going to say. I'm in the military. I know a lot of people that have went to prison for, doesn't matter the age. If you're a person of power, you go to prison. So I love Bill Clinton, but yeah. So, and the second thing is Pelosi. I mean, come on, man. We don't need to fight against ourselves. We had a great victory. So love you, Mark. Thanks
Love you too,
a lot,
man. Enjoy your day. All right, folks. We'll do it again in the morning. If all minds are clear, it has been made plain.
God is my friend. Jesus is my friend. He made this world.